Good day to you. In the video of the inner tribunal, there was an important moment where I said that when I follow him, I can no longer answer with ideas, with arguments, or explanation. Towards the end of that video, I say something that profoundly changed how I live and how I share with others. From that moment on, I need to answer with my life. Today's video is also about that. Originally, this video was meant to explain repentance, because a dear friend asked me a simple question. Dennis, why and how can you feel at peace with repentance? But when it came time to record, I realized something. I couldn't explain repentance without answering again with my life. So this actual video changed. And what you're about to hear is not a teaching, it's a journey. Before we go further, I want to say this gently. Repentance is an uncomfortable word to listen to. One I ran away for more than 30 years. Especially that I felt I had done everything I could. Especially when I was fighting for my survival, or even fighting for what I believe was good. So, if you're listening to this, I invite you to slow down, to be calm, to let the story come to you, without trying to resolve it too quickly. And if this is not the right moment in your day, it's okay. You can come back to it later. Because to understand how I came to repentance and why it became the turning point of my life, it's important to know where I come from. This journey did not begin in 2023, and it did not begin in 2010. We need to go back further in time for that. Let's start at the beginning. That story began in a time when in Canada, stores were closed on Sundays so people could go to church. It began in a time when the church shaped the rhythm of community life, when the priest's message mattered in the community conversation, sometimes for days. When going to church on Sunday was a social norm more than a dedication to Jesus. I grew up inside that world. And yet, even as a child, something felt off. Not wrong. Incomplete would be a better word. As a teenager, I was introverted. Some of you may know this. Introverted kids are often easy target for bullying. So I learned very early what it meant to try to fit in, to adjust, to disappear a little. I know what it felt like to be afraid to walk back home. I remember my father wanting me to take those karate or judo class. He wanted me to learn how to defend myself. And every time I said no, he was frustrated with me because he thought I didn't want to defend myself. But he never asked me the simple question, why don't you want to learn? Maybe if he had, I would have said something like this. Because if I go there to those courses, I will get beaten again, and I just can't take it anymore. It hurts too much outside. The worst pain is inside. And going there meant stepping into the ideas that to be okay, to be safe, I had to learn how to fight. And that didn't feel right to me. His heart was in the right place. I was simply unable to move from the fear and the pain I was carrying. I was lucky. My father stayed with me. He coached me in hockey and baseball during my teenage years. I wasn't rebellious or angry. I wasn't against God. I went to church because my parent brought me there. I listened, I observed, but inside something was already searching. The world I was living in felt incoherent, disconnected, often ignorant of itself. Even then, I could sense something else, a deeper understanding. I knew those boys who were bullying me were carrying a pain much deeper than mine. I had a hunch that they were missing something that somehow I felt inside. Compassion, a desire for others to succeed, a will to do good. I didn't have the word for any of this as a teenager, but I felt a strong inner calling. This cannot be all there is. That question followed me through my teenage years. One Sunday morning during Mass, I remember a sermon. The priest, he was warning against a philosophy. The Scientology Church of L. Ron Hubbard. This was around 1987-1988. It was part of a broader movement at the time, a search for human clarity. The priest spoke with fear for those who would follow Scientology, with condemnation, without ever asking what could attract a soul toward that edge, without ever saying something simple like, "Stay here, stay rooted in Jesus Christ. This too shall pass." I don't blame him. Priests are human. The church is human. It does its best to guide, to protect, to hold that space. But something shifted in me that day. I didn't feel invited deeper, not because Christ was absent, but because I couldn't yet hear him through that language. I wasn't pushed away from Christ. I simply walked away from a space that could not yet hold the question I carried. Because, weeks before, I attended a meeting of that Scientology church on Wellington Street in Sherbrooke City. And there I felt understood. It felt like someone was offering me a way to overcome the incoherent world I was living in. They were explaining to me why there was suffering in the world. They said humans carried engrams, traumas stored in the reactive mind, and that if I could erase those engrams, I could become clear. And myself took the lead. Not to defy Christ, not to reject him, but to make myself better. He loves me, I thought. He must be agreeing with this. I never went back to the Scientology church, but the seed had been planted. My inner voice said, if I cannot find a place where my questions can be answered, then the quest is on. And the quest to make myself better was seductive. It promised clarity, understanding, elevation, consciousness. It told me you can become clear. You can rise above ignorance. You can fix what doesn't make sense. And for a young soul seeking meaning, that was enough. I did not reject Jesus. I never could. But I placed him aside as one guide among many. At times, I even doubted him completely. In truth, I was walking far from him. Years passed, and this search intensified. It started going in every direction, from David Icke, the Illuminati, the aliens, to Telos, to the rise of consciousness yet to come. So many rabbit holes, each one leading into another one. And I want to say this clearly, these were not fantasies, these were not imaginary experiences. I learned a great deal on that path. I discovered many things. In 2010, I wrote a manuscript called The Keys of the Illusion. It was based on my own lived experience. 13 keys, each one lived, leading towards a moment that I can still describe today as illumination. Everything felt clear. I felt connected to something energetically powerful. And yes, Christ is present in the keys of the illusion. He is there. But the I had made itself the master, deciding where the light should go. I was passionate. I was sincere. I was driven. I wanted to help humanity. I wanted to help eliminate suffering. I wanted to elevate consciousness. I even had a formula, a vision, a way I believed was right. I want to say this simply. That Dennis was sincere. He believed it was his role to help elevate humanity, to do what he could. He loved humanity. He wanted good. He wanted truth. But he had no center. Christ was not at the center. The self was. I was guiding the self with intelligence, with sincerity, with love. But even in that willingness, the I was the one holding the wheel. Then, in 2023, after a full year and a half of deep turmoil in my life, I heard something different. Not as a command, not as a correction, just a quiet presence saying, "Let me in. I am already there." So I will stop here, because before anything changes, before anything collapses, there is always this moment where everything stops, and we are invited to reflect on where we come from. This is this week's video. Next week, we will enter into how repentance became the way. Let him in. He is already there. Be blessed, brothers and sisters. May your search be answered.